Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. This week we're in Essex at the North Weald Airfield for Wings and Wheels. The show's been going for quite a while, this being the 31st year, and like all the shows I've been to so far this year, it's a bit smaller than the last time I was there. But that's just how it goes. The popularity of the hobby goes around in a loop, and we're currently on a bit of a slowdown. That's not to say the shows are bad, it's still lovely being surrounded by all the RC stuff. Being a slightly downsized show isn't all that bad though. 3 or 4 years ago, by 10 AM, there wasn't any space in the sitting area, and people were 3 or 4 deep against the fence, one end of the flight line to the other. During the quieter times, you can actually see what's going on. Anyway, planes! Unlike Long Marston, which was mainly jets, Wings and Wheels actually had a nice selection of props buzzing around, including these rather nice World War II models. Excellent fast pass machines. A PT-19 I think, a Spitfire and a P-47 I do believe. Great stuff. The wind was quite strong and right across the strip, so all the landings of the day were a bit tricky to handle. The smaller models like these looked to be a bit of a handful. There were some enormous tanks. It would be very nice to put one together, but they're quite expensive, so I think I'm going to stick to my little modified Heng Long. In one end of a rather large tent was Tamiya tracking. They've been going to Wings and Wheels for a number of years now, and the layout keeps getting progressively more intricate, even if they did have a bit of a bow wave coming down from the ramp. This night hauler did have a neat trick. On the back was a controllable forklift, and as far as I could see, from the same transmitter as the truck. Very cool. And pretty well fully functional. It could do with some finishing, hiding the battery in bits, but it's approaching the level of fiddliness that you see in those videos from the German layouts. Here's a rather nice long-nose Scania. I wish Tamiya would make one as a kit, instead of only having the American trucks with the long noses. In the back corner were a couple of those really spendy diggers happily transferring some dirt to the trailers. I can imagine it's quite relaxing once you get the coordination with the sticks. Once the trailers were full, they drove off around the layout to dump their load over the edge of a little side road. They do look like a lot of fun, and with the other people they've actually got a purpose rather than just driving around in circles. They're gradually moving the dirt from one place to another. Outside again now, and we've got a couple of large scale red arrows. Don't quote me, but I think they were 1/3 scale. We saw them at the LMA show a year or two ago, so they must be up around 1/3 scale to fly there. With the smoke on, they look pretty close to full size, and due to the size they don't really get upset by the crosswind. Even the landings were pretty smooth. A bit of a bounce, but considering the wind you can't really do much better. Every so often the tank guys would take one of their tanks for a walk down the flight line in front of all the trade stands. The Tamiya tracking guys do it from time to time too. Another sight you'll see a lot are the mobility scooters. No doubt indispensable to their owners, but they do mean you have to watch your ankles. And I'm sure some of the old fellas actually race them. Can't blame them though, I think I'd probably do the same. Next we have a BAE Hawk 100. Like the red arrows, it's somewhere around 1/3 scale. Surprisingly manoeuvrable for a big jet. Without the prop wash over the surfaces, a lot of jets get a bit iffy at low speed. This one though looks like it's really well set up. And not to mention its party piece. It's got flares, or possibly rockets, it's hard to tell. Some of them look like they're being fired forwards. Either way, pyrotechnics on a model are always cool. While eating lunch there were some more World War II models buzzing around. These ones I think were a bit smaller than the first lot, but I'd guess they're probably still running some rather large petrol engines. The noise they make during the passes is just, well, better. The only way to beat them is to go to a full-size airshow. Here's another enormous plane, this time a Fokker triplane, doing a very slow, almost vertical landing. It's got so much lift and drag it's all but hanging in the air. The model is way overpowered, it was doing seemingly unlimited vertical from low speed. I didn't catch it on film, but it's set up more like a 3D model than scale. Unfortunately, even with the large size, the wind was still a little bit too much. It flipped the Fokker up onto its nose. As far as I could see, there wasn't any lasting damage, so it's still a good landing, if a little unconventional. You can just about see the two guys righting the model to get some scale. With the nose on the ground, the trailing edge of the wing is shoulder height. It's huge. There was of course the usual freestyle type display with the usual kind of model. The aerobatics look fairly standard for a pro pilot at a display, but again, don't forget he's managing quite a lot of wind too. When it's windy, my attempted knife edges are usually at 50 feet and rarely very straight. He is keeping the airspeed up though, which has to help quite a lot. And here we have an electric model, similar performance to the last one, but it's even sharper in the air. There was even a bit of hovering using the wind to sit the model on. Now I can just about prop hang certain models in calm air. Keeping it stable in wind must be an ideal mix of model setup and practice. Very nice. I think it could do with some more engine noise though. And that just leaves the boat pool. There was a fairly steady stream of models being bought out for a float. Usually it wasn't empty for long. One thing though, after going to Sumner's Ponds the other week with the nice natural looking water surrounded by grass, a blue plastic pool is a bit of a letdown. But they are at an airfield, so it's as good as it's ever going to be. This particular model I thought was rather neat, well finished, except for the bloke on the side who seems to have a neck injury. It's running on a working steam engine, completely silent with a proper little engine. Maybe we should all go that way instead of electric. It's near enough the same. Okay, one more thing then, the bring and buy. Usually at other shows the bring and buy consists of 3 or 4 tables with items often past their best. Here though, the bring and buy is really rather large. Models get booked in all day, everything from jets, your usual 40 size models, little electric foamies, helis, boats, unbuilt kits. In the tent at the end there's some smaller bits, like radios, electric parts, lots of RC cars and trucks, even some Tamiya trucks like a Grand Hauler, but the price was a bit steep. And of course they usually have a good selection of engines. So I got myself a nice little Sato 82B Golden Knight to go in an old Decathlon I got years ago, but it's been waiting for an engine, so that'll be fun. The only other things that I got were some spare glow plugs, 4 of Just Engine's own for the 2-strokes, and a good old OSF for the Sato. Very nice. Well, that's it for this week then. Next week we'll be back on the Hercules Hobbies trailer. I think we're starting on the top structure, so that'll be fun. Not sure when we're going to go to the next show. We've been to 3 this month, so I should probably cut down a bit and do something useful instead. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like if you liked, subscribe if you fancy it, and if you want to say something profound that very few will ever actually see, leave a comment. Bye guys!